I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked over your grave.
I made so much money one time I showed it to my mom. And she got upset and wanted to hold the money. You don't need to have all this money. Oh, you know, it ain't no big. I gave that money to my mom. Man, when I tell you, when I went back to get that money back, man, that shit was low as hell. As soon as I asked for it, I got mad. I said, Mama, what you? She said, well, what about when you this? What about when I bought you that? What about when you ate this? What about when? I was like, man, you ain't tell me that's what that money was. That was the first time I learned, don't show people what you got. You know what I'm saying? Keep your money low, you know what I'm saying? So I learned to be humble with what I had then and don't be trying to show off and so anxious to let people know what you got. You know what I'm saying?
I'm feeling this. I'm your professor, I will test you in the worst way. Don't bring a scantron, it's pop quizzes all day. Cause of our chemistry, we do biology. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscriber die trying, man. That was a very interesting clip that I wound up coming across on social media. Because the way the guy was talking, he was talking as if like he was a teenager when that happened, or he was a very young man, like when he was living with his mother. And because when he was like, did not buy this for you, did not buy that for you, did not do this, did not do that. And I'm not gonna front. I had a similar story when I was a teenager. And this ain't just to throw mothers under the bus or nothing like that, but not this one, not this one. I'll get another one on that one. But I thought about it in the sense of, you know, this is why some kids feel like their parents are no good. And this is why some kids feel entitled too, because you robbed them. See, we don't talk about enough. Let's just go with the mismanagement of child support for one. Kids become adults and then they realize how it was mismanaged and they want their money back, but they're not going to get it. That causes a rift because now I can't trust you. I love you, but I can't trust you. And see, people don't realize you can love a person and can't trust a person. And I was watching Zoe Williams and they were talking about parents, predominantly mothers, the complex of being the villain and the hero in a relationship of parenting. You know, she's the hero because she's a single mother and she's there and that's who you were predominantly. And she's also the villain because she's doing you dirty. But you loved the hero more than you hate the villain. You get what I'm saying? So that made me like, yeah, it happens. And then there was a clip where I forgot who that was on. The woman was talking and she said something to the degree of, and Zoe actually touched on it. Like they say parents are toxic or something like that. And it's like the reason why they saying parents is because we're talking about mothers. That's why they made it about parents. And me, I have a thing about these half-truths and cover-ups that people try to pull in society to be non-specific because certain groups are looked at as better than the villains that they are. So I'm looking, I'm listening, I'm like, here we go. And I'm thinking at the same time, like, what happens when these kids get older and they say, you know what, I could have been further on. Because see, we talk about, and they say I could have been further ahead in life. And what I mean is, when people talk about legacy and fathers' role and responsibility to give their child a leg up, I get what you're saying. But if the father is quote unquote not in the home and he has to send money on a regular basis, it's really the mother's financial duty to put that kid in a good position, because now she should use the money for that, but she doesn't. And you really don't hear fathers say this, but some of the kids, they just say, look, I paid the child support. And kids don't like, you did that, but you supposed to do this extra and that extra. And it's like, no. You're supposed to know the difference between somebody who's actually giving money for your betterment and somebody who's spending money that should be used for your betterment. That's what you should know by now. And but the kids, whether when they grow up, even when they're adults, the vast majority of them are like, well, I know my mama had took the money and spent the money, and the reason I don't have certain things because she did that, and she gonna get you. I had to pay rent, and I had to pay a car note, and I had to put food on the table, and I had to keep the lights on, and I had to keep the gas on, and some of y'all, me as a father, they be like, well, how did you ever? You didn't have to do that. You don't know what it's like to be a single parent. I don't know what it's like to be a single mother. True, I know what it's like to be a single parent. And see, I can be biased, but this is the reality. Like, I know what it's like to be a single parent that's paying child support and still being a single parent when the kid's in the house. And that same other parent who's receiving child support is just doing their thing. They're not sending the money back. They're not giving child support. They're even claiming the kid on their taxes. You know what I'm saying? And I say that to say most guys I know who had to pay child support and had custody of their kids, if they switched over, most of those women didn't give the money back at all. You know what I'm saying? It was just, oh, you're gonna wait till it's over. And the kids don't get it until they grow up and get it. But the reason why this is so important, because that, like that man said, it taught him a lesson to not let people know what he got. Because what happens when your mom's the first person to steal from you? Because a lot of y'all don't realize it, but how can I say this? A lot of you single mothers are such thieves that you get your kids accustomed to people stealing from them and shortchanging them. So they're trying to figure out, a lot of this not knowing what they're worth or what they're worth comes from you stealing from them. You get what I mean? So now they don't know how much they're actually worth because it's expected that somebody's gonna take something off the top. So that's a whole nother thing. But and on the flip side of that same thing is the situation where people want to floss and stunt because I finally got something. And some of y'all don't get, some of y'all finally got something because y'all had to get it on your own. You know what I'm saying? And what was already there for you was not, was not for you. And like I said, I know this all too well. I've been a kid. I've also been a parent in the situation. So it changes you. Changes your perspective on people and what people would do for money and things like that. So to me, at the end of the day, the question is this: why is it so difficult to blame mom for spending your inheritance when she receives it on a regular basis? Because this hiding behind my mama loved me so she did these unscrupulous things does not really hold water over time, because when you become a parent, you don't think that you're gonna do that to your kid. You see what I'm saying? You know, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna. If this is this for my kid, then I ain't finna just. Well, I want to go get some sneakers. I want to go get a haircut. I want to go on vacation. You know what I'm saying? Forget that. I want to upgrade my car from this to that, so I'm gonna take that money off of it. I say on the father side. On the mothers, I still see mothers doing the very same thing and hiding behind. Oh well, because a lot of these ladies, they taking the money on one end and they're expecting to get with a man and he's gonna fill in the gap. You get what I'm saying? So it's ridiculous. But ultimately, the kid gotta suffer. The kid gotta suffer, and the kid starts learning money from that aspect. And I remember Philip Buchanan, the football player, when he said he had wrote a book after he retired, and he says when he got his first contract, he thought his mother was playing, but she came out and she was like, "You owe me $1 million for taking care of you." And she put it down by a year. And then he was like, "Yo, for the last 2 years, You know, high school, I wasn't even living with you, so you need to bump it down. But he started looking at it differently because it's like, oh, so this wasn't really love. This was just really, you know, I was the one that was able to be the cash cow, so now I owe you. And a lot of this, and the reason I bring this stuff up is because there's a difference. Kids find out there's a difference between a parent that loves them and a parent that's charging them for 18-year Uber ride. You know, but 9 times out of 10, if his mom, they'll pay the Uber and act like she didn't do him that way, and just have and internally deal with she the villain, but she's also the hero. I love the villain, and I don't hate the hero more than I love the villain. You get what I'm saying? I mean, damn. I love the hero and I hate the villain, but I love the hero more than I hate the villain. Sorry about that. But tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
You ever been at the top of the universe? I'm gonna say it to you.